Hello, everybody. It is me, Pacific. I'm going to share something with you because it's time. I'm making a video record of this because it's necessary. Come on a journey with me. Last night, something happened that I kind of had a feeling things were going to get bad, but I didn't expect it to go this far. But we're going to chat about it. Why don't we go ahead and call this a form of Facebook parenting update? I want my viewers to know I've done everything I can to work with my son. I'm going to mention the name of Bill Christ. That's his nickname, not his real name. My son had told his mother and I that he was not hanging around with him because he says, well, I'm not hanging around him because my probation officer doesn't want me with the adults, etc. And I'm doing it to please you guys. And I said, well, you shouldn't be hanging around these guys not to please us, but you should hang around good influences. My son has violated his probation. I had to take him on the July 28th to court. He denied the charges. So there's a hearing coming up in August, and they will decide what they're going to do. He did not show up for his UAs. He did not show up for his individual counseling, blew off appointments, did not make appointments, and he did not show up for the area work crew requirements. The reason I'm making this video is I tried to encourage my son. January, he made threats. Bill Christ made threats. Last night, things escalated over at the house. I went on a date, came back, got a voicemail from my ex. She was crying. I couldn't understand what she said. I called her. My son went off yesterday with Bill Christ, took off. He came back in the evening with Bill Christ. My ex said, you're done gallivanting around. This was 8:30. You need to stay home. To which my son responded and said, you have no effing control over me. Shut up, you effing cunt, bitch. You're a worthless mother, on and on. Mind you that on the 28th of July, I bought my son a $1,000 MacBook Pro, the Apple computer that's the big rave right now. I bought it. We went to lunch, and I said, I'm buying this not because you've earned it or deserve it. He wanted to do something with a MIDI program making music. Somebody had filled his head with the idea he could make money. I said, I will buy into a dream because I want you to focus on something positive. He was excited when I bought him that. I said, you'll go to school, you'll take out the trash, you'll do what your mother says. He said, you're not hanging around Bill, are you? No, not at all. One of my viewers on YouTube informed me that Bill Christ's Facebook page had a recent photo of him with my son right on the front door of my ex's place. I called him and I said, what is this? Oh, that was 5 months ago. The only problem is my son doesn't realize that I know what the trees look like in March in Colorado. They're not all fully in bloom. I said, that looks like a summer picture. Last night, we had undeniable proof that he was with Bill. And every time he's with Bill, his behavior gets worse and escalates. There's a gentleman renting, an adult renting a room in the basement of my ex-wife's home. He watched all this go down last night. My son then pushed my ex-wife and spit in her face. She called the police. I said, "Are they there yet?" She said, "No." I came up. I said, "Where is he?" My son and Vil took off. Vil is a coward. Vil's a chicken. When he drops my son off, he will not come down and drop him off because he doesn't like to face the music. He lost his job at Pizza Hut. Either he quit or he got fired. Somebody actually let him become a manager. I don't know what they were thinking. Which Pizza Hut that is, I don't know. The guy cannot keep a job, cannot keep an apartment. Two people that were very close friends to him have turned tail on him, seen him for what he is. One of them has contacted my ex last night and said, "I will do anything I can to put Vil Christ behind bars. Let me know how I can cooperate." The guy that's living in my ex's home told me last night, I said, "Was there any sexual things going on between Vil and my son?" He said, "I didn't see anything, but I know they were dating for 2 years." He said, "In last October, Vil Christ assaulted your son in a location not too far from where I live." I said, "What?" Makes sense. Last October, my ex informed me that my son was suddenly afraid of Vil Christ, wasn't seeing him, wasn't hanging around. An adult assaulting a minor. This was when my son was 14. The reason I'm going public on YouTube is this is dedicated to parents that are having trouble with their children and the kind of influences they're hanging around. So I'm standing next to the tenant that rents in the basement. The police show up. We told the police what's going on. Son has a hickey on his neck. I said, "Is he dating anybody?" The tenant says, "No, he was a while ago." So we think Vil did that. I told the police, I said, "We need to get this guy in jail. He is a pedophile. I have every reason to believe that he's had anal sex with my son." My son denies it. What my son doesn't realize is I ran a troubled youth home and I know all the signs of sexual abuse. And the way he is acting, he has been acting like this guy is his lover. And been very offended if we say anything against him the way you would say something about a guy with his teenage girlfriend. The reason I'm making this video is because we want Vil Christ to know that there are two people that he knows very well that have already come forward and said some very damning things about him. A week ago, my ex called me and said all her rings were missing. Heirloom rings that were given to her by mother, rings that were given to her by me when I was married to her, rings that she had collected over the years, all worth money. This gentleman who lives in the house said, "Yep, your son told me 2 months ago that he had stolen some of his mother's rings and gave them to Vil to take to the pawn shop." Vil's not a very smart kid. He flies just under the radar, but now I am praying and hoping that he will eventually hang himself and get caught in the system. I want him arrested. I don't like him. I don't trust him. He's got a big mouth. He threatens people. He takes advantage of people that can't defend themselves. He's a stalker. He's a predator. And he preys on children. Last night, when the police took the report, they said, "When he comes back, call us. We'll issue him a citation for harassment for pushing and then spitting on mother." I left at about 11:30. Thunderstorm came in. Oh, by the way, the tenant renting in the house, his phone rings. He looks down at it and he goes, "Shh, it's Vil." I'm standing right there and I hear Vil's crappy voice. Bleh. Sounds like he's totally out of it. And he says, what's going on? And he says, I'm bringing, my son home. Can you fix him a hamburger? He goes, yeah, when are you going to come back? He says, I'm headed there now. Where are you going to drop him off? Up in the parking lot, the usual place. Everything in me wants to say, hey, you little pedophile, why don't you come here and have a talk with the police and submit a semen sample? I kept my mouth shut. My son gets on the phone and he says, yeah. And here the cops hear this because the tenant put it on speaker. And my son says this, yeah, my effing mother shut off my service so I can't effing make the call. I looked at my ex and I went, awesome. These kids today cannot live without their phones. So we waited. Enough time went by, and I said to the tenant, call Bill back and say, where's my son? Bill says, I dropped him off. Where is he? I've already left. I thought, oh, perfect. He dropped him off. Bill flees the scene. Son doesn't have a phone to call and said, wait, come back. My son walked down, saw the police, me, everybody, hid, coward that he is. And he then waited until we were all gone and rang the doorbell. Ex-wife went upstairs, said to the tenant, let him in. I'm going to call the police. Call the police. My son has the audacity to go in the house and say, what the hell did you cut off my phone for? And yelling and mouthing off at her. And she goes, no, we're done. And while he's in his rant and rage, the police show up. The tenant said, yep, I saw him push and spit in her face. And they put the handcuffs on him and took him to a lockdown facility. And there's a hearing this week. And I have contacted the probation officer and said it is in the best interest that he should not be back with her. Because of my living arrangement, I can't take him. He has threatened me last January, damaged my truck, and he has made threats ever since on various levels to her. And yesterday, my ex told me, oh yeah, he referred to you as a dumb F-U-C-K. I want my viewers to know I've been nice to him. I've taken him to lunch. I've tried to spend time with him. He's blown off most of our Saturday lunch appointments. When we did get together, I tried to talk about things you can relate to, keep it positive, keep it moving. And all he does is sit there and do this. I said, hey, could you put that down? It's father and son time. My son is a manipulator. My son doesn't love either one of us. My son is completely self-centered while accusing everybody else of being self-centered. My son has called the probation officer. He referred, and every one of them a-holes, he calls the police effing pigs. Bill Christ has a hatred for our patriotic Americanness, and he's from Finland, and he lives in this country. This is kind of shit that America let come into this country and crap all over our Constitution, pedophile our children, and have an entire Facebook page calling themselves the Butt Crusader, complete with butts and anal sex and how much he gets off on that. Does Bill Christ really think that I really believe that he never did anything to my son? My son hasn't told the truth in years. So, son, if you see this video, I took the computer, I opened it up, turned it on. Glad you took care of it. Thank you for that. But I saw you had a password. I advertised it on a site to sell it for half price. Somebody said I can't get into it unless I have a password. Somebody suggested go back to Best Buy. Not only did it go to Best Buy, it was 15 days past. It was past the 15-day limit to do a return. I got a manager today. Told the manager my son was arrested, taken to a lockdown facility. Teenager, not following the rules, and I know it's past the expiration date for returns, but it's a few days past. I need a password reset or a factory reset, and I know the Geek Squad said they charge $30. Would there be any way you could have it reset, take the $30 out, and refund me the money? Is that possible? The lady was older. She was very nice. She goes, I had teenagers too. Let me see if we can get this reset. She did. She also told me how to go into a computer, even if you don't do a reset, and the max you can do it with. There's a sequence of stuff you hit where you can override and reset the password. I like that. She gave me a full refund back to my credit card. So the computer's gone, son. And I will never buy you a laptop again unless I see 100% improvement. I am making a move, and I will be making a motion. I've already told the probation officer and the authorities that be that I'm making a recommendation that you do not live with either one of us, that you need to be in a foster care or a halfway house facility. I've tried to encourage you. As you cried in my truck out of innate fear when I pulled up at the school that we were going to enroll you in on Wednesday, and you cried. I was shocked. I haven't seen you cry for years. You used to be a tender kid, and that used to pull at my heart. I called your mother this morning, 4:30, and said, did he come home? She goes, yes, taken to the lockdown facility. I called her. I said, where's the laptop? She goes, oh, his backpack's here. Let me check. There were condoms in there. There was pot cards for where you can buy pot. It's awesome, son. 15 and a half years old, smarting off to everybody, thinking everybody owes you a living. I understand you've been through some hard stuff, but blaming everybody but yourself, talking tough, threatening people, spitting in your mother's face, that is not a frickin' man, son. You made threats at me. I have never made a threat against you. To date. I'm your dad. You disgust me. I'm offended. I'm upset. And it doesn't matter what you say or do. I will not live in fear of my own son. I refuse to do that. I refuse to bow to that. You lost a laptop. That's your choice, not mine. You spit in your mother's face. That is the highest form of disrespect. Now you just extended your probation, and who knows what's going to happen in the hearing this week. I am glad they handcuffed you and took you in a police car. It's time you learn that there are consequences for your action. It is time to learn that you got to stop playing victim and laying around all day, smarting off in the living room of your mother's home, thinking you can talk tough, and you don't even take out the freaking trash. Your chores: change the cat box, put the dishes in the dishwasher, tidy up the sink, and you don't do that without a fight. You stand there in front of me for 10 minutes arguing with your mother why you're not going to take the trash out, which is 50 feet from her door to the dumpster. Unbelievable. I never did that. When I was told to do something, I did it. My parents were abusive, by the way. And you even admitted to me in the counseling session this year. Dad never abused me. Never. You did not go through what I go through, and all you can do is play victim. All you can do is blame everybody. I've tried to be sympathetic and understanding, and I understand there's some things that upset you with regards to your mom. I know all that. I've tried to be polite. Hey, son, how are you? I love you. How was your day? You even told me just last week that you liked the way I approached you compared to your mother. But that still wasn't good enough. I tried an experiment with you. It didn't work. Kill him with kindness. So, you referred to your dad as a dumb F-U-C-K. You're right. I am dumb. But I'm smart now. And you know what? I'll never be nice like that again. I won't be rude to you. But buying you gifts when you don't deserve them? Nah, I won't do that. Buy you a $1,000 MacBook Pro? Never do that. You wanted my truck. You wanted a driver's license. And I'm sorry, but all you've done is talk. Most of the time you don't do your chores. You won't even clean your room. And then your mother told me today something that I have to address in this video. That pedal car fire engine that your dad got you for a gift many years ago with the bell and the wooden ladders on the side that you just love so much. I told your mother today that you told me last week. I said, you and I are going to get in and clean up your room. And I said, what do you want to do with the fire truck? You told me I could take it. And I said, well, we'll see if your mother wants to keep it. I said, son says that you can keep the fire truck. She goes, oh, he blamed you for the ladders being broken and the bell being missing. I said, really? Son, when did I take the ladders off of that? And when did I take the bell off of that? I think you forgot that I divorced your mother in 2007 and I had ladders and a bell on it. I know, because it was in your bedroom and I had it all dusted and clean. Or no, it was in the basement, in the toy room. You have lied about me. You've lied about your mother. You played against your mother in the counseling session with the family counseling. You said what a worthless mother she was. Then you turned around 2 weeks later and said how worthless I was and that I wasn't there for you. Then you came back and apologized and said, you know, I'm sorry, it's like I was having my period, and I didn't mean all those things. You don't know this, but the counselor called me that evening after you lambasted and cussed and were completely vile. And the counselor said, and I quote, you got verbally abused tonight, Pacific. I said, you saw that? She goes, I can't believe you didn't explode. She goes, I've been in counseling sessions where I've seen the dad get up and threaten to do bodily harm. I'm amazed at the way you controlled yourself. Son, I've never threatened you, but you've threatened me. I've tried to encourage you to be a man. You sat in my truck this last Wednesday and cried. Real tears. Because all the cars that were in the parking lot thought school was in session. It was just the teachers in service. And I said, son, let's go out and register. Your mom's in there. We need to go in. And you said, no, I can't do that. I cannot do that. I'm having an anxiety attack. You talk tough, and then I watch you do stuff like that, and I'm going, you're not tough, son. Two people that were friends with Bill Christ woke up, wised up, and they want nothing to do with him. And one of them has already told an awful lot about the life of Bill Christ. Bill Christ is a pedophile. Bill Christ has done things to you. He assaulted you. That's why you stayed away from him for a while, and now you're back with him again. For crying out loud, son, if you can't look at the fact that Bill's the worst example you can follow, and all you do is scream and yell about your mother this and your mother that. Bill has not paid for your rent. Bill has not paid for your health insurance. Bill does not buy you a car. Bill doesn't help you with your homework. Bill brought you by this house to vandalize my truck. So you talk about how good Bill is. Bill is a menace to society. What Bill doesn't realize is I have people that have come to me several months ago and one recently. If you ever run into trouble with that twerp, I will take care of him. I said, no. Let God deal with Bill. You sat there in the counseling and said, oh, you're afraid of Bill. I'm not afraid of him. I'm afraid of what I would do to him if I wasn't in control of myself. If he came and got into my property and in my face. Bill's a threat to society. Because he's lawless, he's immoral, he follows Satan, and I don't like him, Sam I am. And I'm sorry that whatever you went through, you feel that you need to be so hostile and hateful that you can justify your satanic rage that you even said you want to get rid of your name and name yourself Grim Osiris Wolf. Scandinavian occult crap. I love you, son. I will always love you. But you're heading over your own cliff. You're digging a deeper hole. And when your mother pulled your pig out of your backpack, your little stuffed pig, I can't believe you still have it. And all I can do is be sad and go, what happened to my little boy? You're so hard, you're so jaded. You're more calloused than I am at 49, at you at 15 and a half. You did not go through what I went through with physical abuse. My dad punched me in the face, broke my glasses, bloodied my nose. I was called names by both parents. I was locked in my bedroom with a catch on my door until the age of 10. Get home from school, shoved in my room, door shut, locked. I urinated in my room because I couldn't get out. I escaped out the bedroom window and then got my butt spanked for that because I was locked in my room all day. You did not go through that with me. And I'm tired of you playing victim. You're a lightweight. I took you to work with me. I was so proud to have you with me. You realized how hard it was to push the clutch. You realized how hard it was to pick up a semi-truck battery and said, I can't do it, Dad. Did I mock you? Did I make fun of you? I said, I know, they're heavy. They're 80 to 90 pounds. And I'm doing 16 at a time. And I jokingly said, the next time you threaten me, remember what I do all day, okay? And you laughed and said, yes, Dad. I made an offer for you to come to work with me once a week, and you couldn't even show up. You stay up all night, and you're too lazy to get out of bed and earn easy $50. I asked you not to bring your cell phone. The only thing you did that day was idle a couple of trucks for me. That's it. And I gave you $50. When I was your age, I didn't earn $50 for anything. The wages were different. I earned less. And for the 2 hours I'd work for neighbor, I worked my butt off. When I was your age, I was using electric chainsaw with the next door neighbor cutting her wood. I was operating her wood splitter. I was riding with her in her van to help her get wood out of the forest. Not to mention doing our own wood with a sledgehammer and a wedge. I'm sad at what has happened to you. I'm discouraged by what has happened to you. I'm sickened that you ransacked your mother's jewelry collection and are robbing her blind and racked up her credit cards and have done all the horrible stuff you've done while grandstanding in front of the counselor saying that she took care of me and you didn't. And this was your thank you to her. And then 2 weeks later you were saying how I was much better than her. And you manipulate and you play her against me and me against her. Well, the sad thing is your mother and I are on the same page. And your system can't handle that. I don't agree with everything your mother does, says, or her modeling. But I do know this. When I saw her wailing and crying over the loss of her jewelry and how she couldn't believe you had stooped so low, something in me really, really hurt. You have no respect for anybody. You're 100% selfish, self-serving. Don't you ever in a counseling session say how selfish I was. You are extremely selfish. You can't even pick up a bag of trash without whining like a 2-year-old. You can't get out of my truck and go into the school, you whining and froze up in fear and crying like you were 10 years old. And I'm trying to be calm and encourage you. When everything in me wanted to say, wow, do you think you could be a man? You're a teenager. Walk with me into the school and let's get you registered. You did the next day. But in my heart, I believed he ain't going to go to school. And you won't be going to school tomorrow probably because you're locked up. I'm going to tell you something, Bill Christ and my son. Those that will not govern themselves will be governed. When people do stuff around and outside the law, when you do things outside of God's law, whether you're a Christian or not, it'll catch up with you one of these days. I speak from experience. When you will not honor your mother and father, no matter what your petty excuses are, God will shorten your life. You said the other day that if you were sent to a lockdown facility, you would commit suicide. Well, they're doing a psych eval on you this week. That's good. Son, I wanted what is best for you. And I have a message for Bill Christ. You're an idiot. You're a loser. You are pond scum of the lowest order. Every single man and woman I've talked to about you in this entire area does not like you. I could care less, Bill, about your emo girls with the crap sticking out of their lips and the dreadlocks hanging from their hair and all their disgusting little freaky ways. They're not the ones making the laws. They're not the ones building our highways. They're not the ones molding a generation to be productive and positive. You're sewer rats. Toxic sewer rats. And your sewer's about to explode, kiddo. Because I'm going to be calling a detective and telling him people are confessing some things about you, and this guy needs to be brought in for questioning. You're a sick little pedophile. You won't do that nasty stuff with men your age. You go after kids. At-risk kids, no less, which means you're a predator. Unbelievable. You've encouraged my son to vandalize things. You've encouraged him to steal. You've encouraged him to talk disrespectfully to adults. You've encouraged him to skip school, not do well at his homework. You never once helped him get good grades. Don't give me that crap, son, that he bought you a shirt and he fed you and loved you. Loved you? He beat you up 2 blocks that way. And your own friends came up and said, you could turn Bill in for his pedophiling on you, for assault on you, and a whole bunch of other things, and we would be witnesses. You have more fear of a rotten turd of a loser like Bill than you do of anything else. And you fail to see that that kid is killing you one cell at a time. You think you can get around the laws? You tell me you're going to be emancipated? You're not emancipated. You're behind bars, dude. Handcuffed in a cop car last night. You haven't gotten a job. You wouldn't even do the easiest job with me, with your dad, who wasn't going to nag, say, just walk with me, ride in the truck with me, help me with the little things. I was as reasonable as I could be. I have tried to pump you up and said, you and your mother need to stop this fighting, arguing, and go to school, do well, find something you're good at. I was encouraged when in registration you wanted to do computers and robotics. This is a message to all these teenagers that get on social media and are flipping off their parents and talking crap about their parents on their Facebook and their Twitter and all their little media junk. You're a bunch of buttworms. You didn't fight in World War II. You didn't fight in Nam. You didn't fight in Korea. You didn't go through the Great Depression. You didn't build our railroads. You didn't build our schools. You didn't build the public infrastructure, sewer, gas lines, electrical. Shoot, you can't even clean a frickin' toilet bowl. And I've got something to say about these emo people. Grow up. I'm getting older, and I've been laughed at for being almost 50 and being on YouTube. Well, there's people older than me on YouTube, so screw that. Because I'm getting older, I'm feeling more confidence to talk about the freaks that we're seeing show up, that are mouthing off about everything. They can't even lift a frickin' brick, let alone a truck battery, and then they think they're tough because they're flapping their gums and shooting off their mouth with profanity. You gotta be kidding. Let's go to Iwo Jima, son. Bill Christ. You don't even know Christ. I'd like to see you in Pearl Harbor. I'd like to see you at D-Day and the invasion of Normandy. It'd be laughable. See this little disgusting kid with his dyed black hair, BO, and hair all over his open shirted chest and his pants dragging on the ground with his fish hooks in his mouth, running around in his underwear, screaming like a little girl as the bullets are flying. Disgusting generation of bad blood today. You made your choice, son. If you think that you're going to continue to reign, I'm going to tell you your reign is coming to an end. You're not the king, and I know who the king is, and it's the Lord who you reject. I'm not the king. I'm not the one making this happen, but I'm going to tell you that you got a consequence for me. Bye-bye, laptop. I don't have it. It's gone. Go back to Best Buy and beg them for it. You had it coming. Don't fault me. Don't fault me. Parents, stand up to your kids. I heard your sob story about how your mother this, your mother that, and your mother hasn't been perfect, and she has admitted that much. But you have taken this to a whole new level. You think you're a man spitting in your mother's face? You think you're a man shoving a woman? You think you're a man when you're in a hospital bed threatening me? And you said that you would love to see me dead and would laugh? That's a messed up kid. When I gave you opportunity over opportunity for 3 years since I've been in Colorado and said, you can talk to me anytime if you're mad at me, we're fine, Dad. And you lied, and you lied, and you lied, and you lied, and you've learned now to use victimization. Son, I tell my viewers all the time as a joke, tongue-in-cheek, that, oh, I didn't get properly toilet trained, therefore I can be a real yatz. That's in effect what you're doing. Let me tell you something, son, I didn't get the proper tools at all. I still mess up. But Pacific isn't blaming everybody. I get up, I go to work, I try to follow the rules, I try to live Christian principles. I'm not perfect. And when I am wrong, I said, yep, I did it. All I wanted for you was to find something you're successful at and do it. Bill Christ, I've asked you to go away, and you won't. You're a sick puppy. You're a sick, twisted puppy. Go back to Finland and go crap all over your own government and your own people and see how far that gets you. I know some Finlanders in Minnesota that break you in half like a stick, because that's all you are, is a little loudmouth stick. And I've met Finlanders that are real tough guys that log their own forests, and they're tough men. And if they saw you with their deep Finlander voice, they go, we'll take care of him. You're worthless in what you're doing, Phil. You're contributing no good to society. You've contributed no good to my son. You're a Facebook star, bud. That's all you are. My fans are looking at your Facebook, laughing. Every one of my fans that has looked in on your Facebook said, there's nothing to this guy. This little twerp is talking tough. Oh, I'd love to have the opportunity to meet him and have him talk like that to me. Every one of them have said that. I never threatened you. If you remember when you did your little stupid business last summer when I went to go see my son and you interfered and ordered him around like he was your bitch girl, ordered him back into his own house, and you had my son living in complete fear. I wish so bad I had seen you assault him. I would have cleaned your freaking clock and then called the police. You think you're tough in the hospital room saying you better watch your back, pussy. And then you get in your car at DG and try to run me over. Yeah, you're a real man, buddy. You wrecked the Mercury Cougar that your grandma gave you that you didn't earn. You trashed it, dented it all up, and wrecked it. And then you bled all over Facebook and menstruated. I almost got killed. I wish you had. Oh, my gosh. I hope, honestly, that through your own devices that you disappear once and for all. I don't care about you because you sure as hell don't care about my son. That's a lie, and you've infected my son with your toxic pus. Your father's the devil. He's the father of lies, and all you do is lie. And then you steal my ex-wife's rings and pawn them in a pawn shop. Yeah, you're a real man, all right. Can't earn your own money, can't do things right. You say you're such a good influence on my son, you can't say, hey, you need to honor your mother and father. No, you're selfish, buddy. You want your penis rubbed up somebody's ass. I know exactly what you're all about. You're sick, buddy. You're a sinfully sick, twisted individual. I would love to go down to your parents' house down on Mead Street, your grandparents, and tell them what the heck you've been doing. I'd love to. You're only big in your own head, buddy. That's it. I'm sick of this stuff. I'm sick of the influence you've had on my son. It is awful. And there's a lot of other things I know about you, but they're too personal, so I'm not going to say them here. But I will be telling the authorities about them. Starting with my son's probation officer, who also looks at your Facebook page and has said that you are a disturbed, messed up individual. Not one law enforcement person has had one good thing to say about you. So all your little political statements, all your little counseling BS, and all your whining and menstruating on your Facebook page that some of my fans are looking at, shaking their head going, this guy is a freaking loser. Dude, when are you going to enter the real world? You don't know the first thing about America and the freedom that we have. You don't know anything. You're a sewer rat infecting other sewer rats, running around in poo-poo water, thinking you're something else. I'm disgusted with you, Bill Christ. You're a disgusting human being. You want to butt F-U-C-K other men? Go find men your own age. Go get on Craigslist, men seeking men. You can find all that on there. Why don't you go take on somebody your own size and age? See how that works out for you. Because you done effed up my son real good. I'm not real happy about that. And I'm praying, and you have absolutely no power over my prayers. And the God you say you don't believe in, doesn't matter what you believe. You said you thanked the universe that you were all okay after a car crash? That's laughable. What is this, Luke, the force be with you? Watching too much Star Wars? Eating too much pot-laced Cheerios? Okay, buddy. You contributed alcohol to a minor in that car wreck. My own son went to his probation officer and said, my dad's saying bad things about Phil. You're darn right I'm saying bad things about Phil. Truthful bad things. Probation officer watched one of my videos and said, I don't see what the problem is here. That's funny. You're a mouth, Phil. You're a mouth. You're not a tough guy. Anybody can punch people and hurt people. That's not a skill, dude. Give me an iron pipe, I could hurt somebody too. Or my fist. Big deal. But you're not a man. No. Kicked out of an apartment? I've never been kicked out of an apartment. Did you know that? Never. You stood there last July on the front porch of my ex's house. She admits that she never should have let you live there. Yeah, I agree. You came to her at 2 o'clock in the morning crying like a baby. Crying, actually crying. My grandma kicked me out. Yeah, because your grandma's sick of your crap, too. You move into my ex-wife's place and talk crap about her while she's feeding you, covering your rent, utilities. Then you steal her stuff, put it in your duffel bag. You steal her rings, and then you're dumb enough to walk in the house with one of her rings on. Yeah, you're a real man, buddy. For all the problems I have with my ex, I never stole anything from that woman. Never. You talk trash about her, then you talk trash about me. Anybody that stands up and calls you out, you threaten them, you talk tough. You can't take any criticism, little baby boy. And you call my son your baby. You're the baby, buddy. You're worse than a baby. You're worse than a baby with the poopiest, smelliest diapers. I don't like you, Vil Christ. You're a bad little boy. I wish we were back in the 40s. Because back then, we could legally show you the door. This world's gotten too liberal now. They don't let us deal with things the way we should deal with them. Because I believe in it takes a village. You got a village of sewer rats that are running around doing things behind people's backs, vandalizing, doing all this stuff, flying under the radar. But this guy actually grew up in a generation. You made a comment about my YouTube channel that that I'm stuck in the 70s. I'm not stuck in the 70s. You just don't pay attention. Your music sucks. Your band sucks. Your contributions to the internet world suck. It's all crap. You're a legend in your own mind on Facebook. Wow. Unbelievable. Your own friends are turning you in. Your own friends are talking about the crap you've done. You're very foolish. The Bible says, be sure your sins will find you out. That's any of us. They're finding you out. You can't even tell us where your address is, little boy. You don't want anybody to know. My son won't tell your address because you're all guilty of something. Hello? Mr. Tough Guy doesn't tell anybody where he lives. Mr. Tough Guy can't bring our son back last night right in front of the cops and drop him off. Why not, little Vil Christ, little boy? Because you're a chicken and a coward and you got something to hide? You've been doing that for a long time. Would you like to get on YouTube and tell everybody that you hid in the upper parking lot when my son was released from the hospital after threatening his mother and I and raising all that hell and racking up $103,000 in hospital bills because of your stupidity? Now, he made his choice, but you gave him alcohol. I've got your copy and pasted comment on your Facebook about wanting to go to a bonfire and paying for the gas and the liquor and the driver. You know, the driver that's dating the guy that worked in my place and got fired because he failed a urine analysis. Yeah, your group is awesome, man. And this was the guy that came up to me and told me that don't sue the girl, she's really nice. Yeah, because he's boning her all the time. Of course she's nice. That's objective credibility, right? I know about all your buddies. The one that's got the laptop that belongs to my ex that still hasn't been returned. Oh, it's at my grandma's. And he needs to go get it. Or we're going to get the police on him too. That's coming next. This is ridiculous. None of you guys have cared about my son. That's all a bunch of crap. But since my son likes to mouth off and grandstand, I'm going to tell something else out here publicly. He wants me to take him to the doctor last spring because he's got all these sores on his butt and on his groin. And he said that everybody over at your house got him because some of them sit around with no underwear on the couch. Yeah, Bill, you're awesome. You give people little diseases and rashes. That's fitting. I look at your pictures. You're gross. You're gross. You're really gross. God loves you, Bill, but you don't care. You're not interested in God. You think you're a God. Thank you for corrupting my son. Thank you for ruining him and damaging him. Thank you for taking an impressionable young boy who had some issues and struggles and problems and some hurts, and thank you for making him a hearted, jailed, now locked down criminal mind mentality. Thank you for that. I hope you're proud of yourself. I promise you, Bill, that one of these days it's going to catch up to you. That the law is going to get you one of these days, because you're not that smart. The law is going to catch up to you one of these days. And because I believe in God, and God is not just some imaginary force I talk to, but because he exists, he'll get you. I promise you that. You can get back to me on that, too. You can go ahead and prove me wrong on that when you die. I guarantee you. It's easy for you to talk, blah, 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 F. That's easy, dude. Millions of people do that in our culture. Nothing new there. Talk is cheap. And based on the crap that comes out of your mouth, we're not even dealing with pennies on the dollar. That's how cheap it is. It's toilet overflow. That's all it is. Can't hold down a job, can't keep an apartment, run back in with Mama Bear, run back in with Grandma Bear who gives you a car. Wow, dude. I listened to your voice last night. It was played for the police. And he had phone call record, so he played it back. And I listened to him like, gosh, he just sounds like crap. You're not articulate. You're not a great orator. You have no skills. And you're putting everybody down and telling everybody what a piece of crap they are and talking tough. I'd like to see you in the U.S. military, buddy. I'd like to see how long you'd last in a boot camp session. I'd like to see the Marine Corps training program where they tear gas the room and tell you to take off your mask and run through there. I'd like to see you tough talk some of the friends I have that are twice my size to their face, that actually don't care if they got arrested for tearing you in half. You're a stupid boy, because you're going to do that to somebody one day that will get revenge. I can't get revenge because my God won't let me do it. But one of these days, you're going to cross somebody's path and they're going to show you the door. I hope to God it's soon. I hope to God it's really soon. Either that or that you become a Christian and have your eyes woke up and you apologize for what you've done and start becoming a respectable human being again, if there ever is such a thing in your life. Son, I love you, but you're putting a chain around your own neck. I know you're blaming your mom and you're blaming everybody else, and then you'll have a reason to be angry at me for taking the laptop. I told you I wouldn't use that as leverage, and I didn't. You'd been doing a lot of things since July 28th that I could have rationally justified taking it. I didn't. I gave it as an unconditional gift. But your mother's paying for your phone. You won't let her take it from you, and you think you can use that phone to smart off about your mother who's paying for it. How does that figure in your head, son? You want to talk crap about your mom? Then you go pay your rent, you go pay your phone bill, you go buy your food, and you go buy your clothes. And your mother and I will be going into your room soon and dumpstering a whole lot of stuff that's strewn all over the place. We're done playing games, son. Done. We got a justice system that's on our side, not yours. We got a constitution that's on our side. We got county, precinct, municipal, and state laws that are on our side. I've tried to be kind, never called you names, never cussed you out. You've threatened me, cussed me out, called me names. Even with all these months that I've been kind and positive to you, and you referred to me as dumb F-U-C-K. Just like the Facebook girl whose cowboy dad got up, said, yep, you talk trash about me. I won't talk trash about you, but what you did was trashy. Your dumb F-U-C-K dad bought you a $1,000 MacBook Pro, which you did not earn or deserve. I didn't take a .22 bullet to it. I should have. That would have been fun for display of power. I turned it into Best Buy. Said, get rid of this. You have accused everybody of being selfish. Let me tell my viewers what your modeling of selfless behavior is. I refuse to take out the trash. I refuse to change the cat box. I refuse to clean my room. When I came to pick you up the other day, I asked to use your bathroom. You crapped in the toilet, complete with toilet paper and urine, and didn't even flush the toilet. I've heard your mother yell at you that you won't even flush it. You're too lazy to pull the freaking handle. I had to flush it before I could do my business. Yeah, you're selfless. You come in the kitchen with all your friends when she's at work and blow the place apart and leave crumbs and crap all over dishes everywhere and don't even clean up after yourself. You put dents in the refrigerator doors upstairs. You put dents in the dishwasher door, dents in the kitchen cabinet, scratches on the wall, tore up food products that are stacked nice and neat. You dug holes in them. You took your mother's shirt with a shower curtain ring and ripped it all up. So while she's at work, even with all her faults, and she comes home and you do absolutely nothing for her, you sit there and tell me that all she does is make you feel bad, while you lay on a mattress on the living room floor with all your crap everywhere and throw your pop cans and trash and debris under the couch. Then she confronts you about the rings. You deny it and call her a liar, though rings showed up in your backpack and rings showed up on your bookcase. And now we hear that your good old butt pirate friend, butt pillager himself, is pawning off the rings. What a stupid fool. His name's on his driver's license. That won't be too hard to trace. And this area has a special unit that specifically has a network dealing with pawn shop and the criminals that pawn stuff. Nice job, Bill Christ. Way to go. Stupid. So your dumb F-U-C-K dad, you're going to really think I'm a dumb F-U-C-K now because I took away your computer. And I don't have it. You won't get it back because I don't have it anymore. It's gone. That was a nice computer. I actually thought of keeping it for myself. And I thought, no. I'm so disgusted by your behavior. I don't want anything of yours. Because now there's a bad memory with it. I love you, son. I've pleaded with you. I've tried to reason with you. I've tried to be sympathetic towards you. Nothing works. You're like a little girl playing victim. My mommy said something mean to me. I know your mother has been verbally abusive to you. I know that. But I haven't been. You told me that the counselor, the good counselor that we had, you didn't like her. She was a flake. She actually had very good advice about using wise mind versus emotional mind. I've had to tell you over and over, use wise mind. It disgusts me in America that people like Bill Christ can run around sowing their seeds of hate and discontent and illegal activities and not get caught. Well, I'm praying that that's going to come to an end soon. I'm praying that justice will catch up to this little butt pirate and put him in a jail cell where he belongs. Then he can have some big old men bend him over and say, come here, little pretty boy. See how much fun he thinks that is. I'm tired of this stuff. I'm asking for all of my viewers that are Christians to pray for justice to come down on Bill Christ. And I'm asking my viewers to pray for my son that he would turn his heart over to Jesus Christ. And I'm asking my viewers to pray for my ex-wife, though I have my differences with her, that God would open her own eyes about things, but also that he would protect her. I needed to make this video because it's therapy for me. It's a very dark day in America when I'm talking about this kind of stuff. It's a very dark day. My son is angry. My son gets up in the morning when his mother asks him to get up. Oh, you woke me up. I'm trying to sleep. I was having a good sleep. Well, excuse me, Your Highness. You do nothing. You lay around. You smart off to your mom. Do you think that you have a right to smart off to your mother when she's paying everything? You ordered her out of the house last week. How laughable is that? You don't pay the mortgage. You don't even clean your area. I've tried to encourage and inspire you to climb to new heights. In the last 2 weeks, you have accelerated downhill like a freight train with no brakes. You won't see this video today. You're in a lockdown facility. I'm glad you're there. And if I have anything to do with it, anything I can sign or anything to get you in a foster care situation and out of the home, in a place where they can really supervise you, I'm signing it all over the place. You go ahead and threaten suicide. They'll keep an eye on you so you won't hurt yourself. That's the chicken's way out, by the way. And then you'll drop into hell. I don't think you know what you're doing if you do that. Because if you take your own life and you don't know Jesus Christ, you're going to an even worse place than anything you think you're going through now. I've tried to reason. I've tried to be agreeable. I've tried to pacify you. I've tried to bless you. Since January. It hasn't worked. Told you yesterday when you started smarting off, I simply called and said, are we meeting at 2 for lunch? You yelled no. And I said, your mother found coins of hers and jewelry in her backpack. That's a lie. Said your mother said that you threatened her over and over, baited her and said, hit me, hit me, hit me. And you said she kicked you in the ribs. She said she placed her foot against you because you were laying on the floor and wouldn't get up. And then you shoved her away, shoved the phone away, and refused to talk to your dad. I haven't even done anything to you. You think I haven't noticed that the only reason you go to lunch with me is because you get a free lunch? And I'm not even finished my last bite. Can we go home now? Yeah, when I'm finished. You're not into relationships, dude. You're into using, manipulating, getting what you want. I've watched you. In the ensuing months since the accident, you've become 100% self-centered. 100%. And there's a lot of teenagers in America like that. Mom and dad pay the bills, and today's teens think they don't have to do a darn thing, and they can smart off and complain about all the injustices. I'm not your mother. I didn't relate to you the way she related to you. I related the way to you that I thought was appropriate. I'm not sorry you're in lockdown, son. What I am sorry about is that you're going downhill, and I'm sorry to see that. I love you, but I don't think you love me, or your mother, or anybody. You love yourself. How sad. This is Pacific, signing off. Bye-bye.